Welcome to the Tomorrow Zone Catalyst podcast. I'm your host, Deborah Rubin. This podcast is really about helping leaders make sense of change as it's happening. I explore a lot of that in my new book, Enter the Tomorrow Zone, available on Amazon. 6 years after the pandemic accelerated virtual work, many organizations are still struggling with leading effectively in a virtual environment. We're starting to see leaders defaulting back to the belief that it is simply better to be in person. At the same time, we're living in a time that's not always possible or practical to be in person. Costs are rising. Some companies are starting to restrict travel. In some cases, safety, global uncertainty are forcing leaders to rethink how and when people are coming together. So here we are again, caught in this tension. We know the value of being in the room, and we need to find ways to connect, align, and move work forward without always having to be there in person. Maybe the real question isn't virtual or in person. Maybe the question is whether we're actually designing experiences that work for how people connect, collaborate, and make decisions today. When experiences are treated like an afterthought, they fall flat. But when they're designed with intention, they can create energy, connection, and momentum in ways that many people haven't fully experienced yet. So today we're exploring what is possible when we stop thinking in terms of virtual or in person and start instead designing experiences that work wherever they happen. So my guest today is Chris Cummins. Chris is, yeah, there he is. Chris is a keynote speaker, a sales expert, and facilitator working with organizations to elevate how leaders communicate, influence, and align their teams. His work spans everything from high-impact conferences to sophisticated virtual experiences that bring hundreds of participants together in very meaningful ways. Chris has developed a unique approach to virtual environments, treating them less like meetings and more like designed experiences, driving attention, energy, and alignment, blending performance, storytelling, and facilitation with deep insight into leadership, sales, and true relationship building. Today, we're going to explore why so many meetings fall flat, what leaders often misunderstand about collaboration, and how thoughtful design can turn both virtual and in-person environments into powerful platforms for momentum. Chris, welcome back to the show. It's so good to have you back.
Oh, Deb, it's a real treat to be here. I've been very much looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, I've been excited too. It's always fun whenever we get together. So I wanted to just kind of dive right into it. And I don't know what you're seeing from where you are in the world in Canada, but we're starting to see a real pendulum swing back toward in-person events. But at the same time, we're starting to see companies become more and more selective when it comes to travel. Rising costs, safety concerns, many other reasons. I'm curious, what are you seeing and how are you seeing leaders navigate that tension right now?
It's interesting you mentioned the cost. There's rising costs, there's opportunity costs, there are hard costs, there's variable costs. One cost, I was chatting with one client recently, they had 1,000 people at their 3-day all-hands meeting, right? They do it every year. Every year we have a budget, we do this thing. And they said, some of the food and beverage costs have increased. I said, tell me more about that. What's an example? And they said, well, we have 1,000 people for 3 days. In the F&B contract, it says it's $20 per attendee to have unlimited coffee at the back of the room. Well, let's, carry the two, get our back of napkin out. That's $20,000 per day times 3 days for coffee. So you're spending $60,000 on coffee at the back of the room. And then what happens, Deb, I'm noticing that, and you said it so well in the intro, I'm noticing that we as the events industry, we'll call it, have gone back to the pre-lockdowns model, which was gather people from all far and wide, put in room, have speaker on the stage, followed by another speaker on the stage, followed by break. then a speaker on the stage, a speaker, potentially panel, then lunch, with a lunch panel maybe. And then a speaker on the stage, then a break, then a speaker, then a break, then a dinner speaker.
Oh my God, I'm trying not to bust out laughing, but I can't hold back.
You get it, right? That was the model
Yes.
for quite a long time. It was like, you go to a conference, we need content. We got to fill them with lots of experts on the stage. We need the 6 ways to do that and the 14 ways to do this and the 3 ways to do this. And there's no opportunity for training other than this 3-day event. I'm noticing there's a sense of exhaustion on the part of organizers. They're like, oh man, we got to find a whole bunch of speakers and we have to fill our agenda. Do you though? Why not pause for a moment? Instead of looking at it through the lens of, I need to fill an agenda, why don't we stop? Let's ask audiences, hey, what are the moments you most appreciate in these conferences? Like, what do you get out of it? And so I've been doing that. I've been doing that my whole career. This is my 21st year giving speeches full-time at conventions. And the feedback consistently as well is like drinking from a fire hose. I rarely remember much other than maybe the last speaker on day 3. I was hungover on day 2, if I recall, because we had the big party on day 1 at night. And it's like, you didn't even get anything out of day 2. You know what they spent on speakers for day 2? It was like $100,000. What are we doing? Why are we gathering? Why are we investing so much opportunity cost and like hard costs in getting this group of people together to learn some lessons that GPT could teach them, or that a small webinar could do, or a small gathering? There are lots of ways to relay information. So if we're going to gather face to face, I'm noticing the human beings, Deb, want to have meaningful conversations with other smart people and share ideas with each other. So instead of like the unidirectional expert on stage, dump info into your brain, no time to discuss or meet anybody in your rows, go have a coffee. Hey, it's $20. We got unlimited coffee at the back of the room. We've already paid for it all. Oh, everyone rush back into the room, sit down and hear the next presentation. If you ask them afterwards, they're like, man, I wish there were more time to go meet people. I miss these folks. So I noticed that the leaders who are innovative, the leaders who are willing to take a risk and are willing to sort of break the current gathering system are the ones that say, well, maybe we don't have to fill the agenda. What if we create white space? What if we create collision, and not negative collision, but positive sort of bumping into one another opportunities? What you ask Google, I think it was Apple as well, that some of these larger organizations deliberately put the restrooms in certain parts of their offices to cause actual physical human being interaction on the way to the restroom, right? That's on purpose. So what if
engineered serendipity?
What if the engineers of events, what if we stop and think, how might we make the participant, I don't like calling them an audience, how might we make the participant experience elevated?
Yeah, and I think that's a question a lot of people are not asking.
So what do you notice they're asking? How do we fill the agenda? I guess.
How do we fill the agenda? Who can we get to speak? How can we get more people to our thing? But as you mentioned, I mean, we're rapidly entering a world where you can get whatever content you want, personalized to your context and your needs on demand. That's the power of AI, and everybody has it in their pocket today. And so what does that mean for the old-fashioned approach where it's about filling the agenda?
Is that the highest and best use of our audience's time and the opportunity cost? I mean, you've gathered these people from across the country, right? They've flown, they took a day off work or a day out of their life to travel, and then they're here. We've got them captive in this room with 1,000 people. So I've been having these meetings with my clients, Deb, where I say, when we're looking for a keynote, good, let's discuss that. Let's find out if I'm a good fit. And once we get deep, I find out, what are you why are you doing this? Well, we always do it. Okay, but what's your intended outcome? What does success look like? They sometimes don't know precisely how to measure success. But if we could move the needle meaningfully in your business, or if we could alter the company culture, or if we could create lasting behavior change, if we can just ignite change, if we can open minds to innovation, would that be helpful? Oh, very much so. Okay, let's choreograph. And I love this word. I learned the word from a facilitation perspective from a great trainer and choreographer named John Berghoff. He has a program called Exchange, and I've learned a lot about this event choreography. And instead of lecturer speaking at room, we get the 1,000 smart, motivated humans in the room to share ideas with each other, and we crowdsource this info. We crowdsource wisdom. So 2 examples. One, a keynote last week. They said, we want a keynote. I said, great, we can do a keynote. Have you considered why people are attending? Well, I think they want to learn. Okay, let me interview some of the people. I interviewed a bunch of folks. Why are you attending? I'm going there to deepen relationships with other people in our industry. Interesting. That's not going to happen by sitting there passively listening to a dude who did a thing or a lady did. It's not going to happen.
Or paid to be on the stage.
Yeah, paid to be on the stage.
Well, we could go on a whole other rant there.
We could go on a rant there, my friend.
Yeah.
So what can we do? How can we, with the audience / participants' experience in mind, how can we choreograph an event that will cause awesome things to happen, to use a term from Tomorrow Zone, like make awesome happen. And I love that phrase that you use. How do we make awesome happen? Awesome does not happen by sitting there passively listening to a speaker. In my opinion, you can get lit up. Don't get me wrong. I can in a 60 or 90 minute keynote, we can do some very cool things. We can ignite some emotion, get some humor, drop some knowledge bomb. Like there's some good stuff. But if a meeting planner or a VP or a CEO says, you know what, Chris, I think we're willing to innovate. Let's see if we can break some stuff. Then I'll say, well, open up a larger chunk of your agenda. Let me facilitate a really cool human connection activity where, this is not rocket science, but it is deliberate facilitation and adult learning principles. We get them pair sharing, then we get them quad sharing, and then they get into their quads. And I took quads and we went into groups of 8 on one of the previous conversations you and I had at this crypto conference. But the idea is like we're causing these smart, motivated humans who have great ideas to share ideas with one another. And then the ideal is we can then surface the best of the best ideas and do a report out to the rest of the room. It is possible to do that with a large group of people gathering in person. What's amazing, my friend, is using technology to our advantage. You can create an even better audience experience via Zoom than an in-person event.
Ooh,
and that blows a lot of people's minds. They're like, no.
Yeah. I want to hear more about that.
There's Zoom fatigue. You don't understand Zoom. We had Zoom. And I use the word Zoom like the word Kleenex, whatever we call it, video conference, right?
Yeah.
People say, well, there's video conference fatigue. There's Teams fatigue. There's Google Meet fatigue. There's WebEx fatigue. Respectfully, every member of your audience will go see a 90-minute to 2-hour movie and not visit the restroom. So don't tell me there's fatigue for video. Tell me that you haven't been creating a meaningful experience in video. That we can have that conversation, right? But there's bad lighting fatigue with bad microphone fatigue, with bad storytelling fatigue, bad facilitation fatigue, bad slide fatigue, content creation fatigue. If you tack all those together, yes, this environment can be really challenging.
Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of leaders say virtual doesn't work, but it sounds like what they're really reacting to is quality issue.
Bingo. So as a facilitator, I've noticed if you can choreograph an event where you have live virtual cameras on, put people into breakouts, like hearing this for the first time, you might be thinking, yeah, breakouts, that's not rocket science. This isn't new information, Chris. No, but there's little subtle ways that before the event, you have event onboarding. There's a bit of indoctrination that happens. Like, you're going to be showing up with your camera on, dressing the part. And if you choose to have your camera off, it's okay, but just don't attend. What? What? And so we've actually got this system now where we get people to sign with their finger on their phone. I will attend with my camera on. And if I choose to have my camera off, I know I'll be, asked to leave the event. No hard feelings, but we're looking for people to attend this meeting, this very important humans gathering. Dress the part, look like a business person. If you can, have a nicer microphone, be ready to engage meaningfully. I facilitated one of these conversations. We had about 300 people, every single person reporting afterward. We did the little feedbacky thing and they said, yeah, Zoom, I was 2.5 hours. What are we gonna, I can't even, and I have to have my camera on the whole time. I'm not sure. And consistently, every single person said, I don't know what it was about this event. I felt seen, I felt heard, I felt understood. I learned a bunch of things from some people I didn't even know, and I made more meaningful connections than I would have in person. And I'm thinking, we're on to something here, Deb.
Well, I've heard that at our events as well, virtual. And, in the past, the thought was, oh, you can't connect with people. You can't connect in new ways in a virtual space. But you can if you design the conditions to have successful connection. And I think that's the key.
Well, part of it is the event begins before the event begins. Now, I teach this for live in-person events as well. I do some speaker coaching to CEOs and I show them how to be effective presenters. Your presentation begins before they read your introduction. The audience knows where you are and they're looking at you. They're watching your body language. All of that stuff matters, right? So if we then take that lens and look at a live virtual gathering, their expectations are being managed well in advance of the event. So what are you doing? What videos are you sending them? How are you telling them, how to show up? Are you just sending them a Zoom link with a calendar, or is there a whole onboarding process? Is there a dashboard they log into? There's a lot of little tiny subtle things that have them realize, oh, this is a thing. It's not a normal Zoom meeting. This is an event that's happening. Deb, it's got to the point where we've been running 3-day meetings on Zoom.
Wow.
What? There's Zoom fatigue. Well, if you can keep people captive for 6.5 hours and send them out on breaks and then come back and their cameras are on and they're back at their desk, they're taking notes, they're engaged, they're going into the breakouts, they're discussing, they're coming back and they're out. That says something, right? If you create it with the audience experience or the participant experience in mind, we can create meaningful human connection. If it's strictly let me read my slides to you it's a very small font, but as you can see, point 1 says this. Point 2, I didn't edit that slide. I need the different. For those of you just listening, I'm pretending to point at a blank slide.
I've seen that presentation before.
You've seen that presentation, right? As you can see, wow, it's a small font there. I probably can't read this at the back. Let me read it to you. And there's the 300 words on the slide. That does not create
the economists are usually the ones like, apologize for the eye chart on my screen, but here's what this number is saying.
Right? I could go deep on a presentation skills. Just rant
All right, yeah, we'll get off of that.
But going back to, the start of our conversation, I've noticed the innovative organizations, Deb, the really innovative ones, I don't have to teach this to. They've already had a glimpse of really, really great live bidirectional facilitation and ideation. They've already had an experience with that, and they realize there's a thing here. The people who've never experienced that assume you can't gather virtually. Too bad, we're not even going to try. But those who have had a glimpse of excellent realize that it's possible. These are the ones that are gathering face-to-face once a year, just like they always did. And they're also gathering virtually once a year. So now we're taking our gathering cadence from annual every 12 months. Now we're meeting every 6 months. We have an in-person, then we have virtual 6 months later. Then we have an in-person 6 months later, and then a virtual 6 months later. Different needs. We're breaking bread. We're having alcohol in some cases. We're, face to face. We're having, human physical contact, hugging, all of the things at the in-person event. And then we're supplementing that with a live virtual event 6 months later. And guess what? You're not spending $60,000 on coffee. You're not spending, $900,000 on flights and $600,000 on hotel rooms. So there's an opportunity to gather and create that experience, recreate what you had in person, supplement it, have ideation and human connection virtually that previously didn't exist.
I'm just thinking about what you're saying, and it relates so much back to the Tomorrow Zone system, because you were talking earlier about, when you're having conversations with your keynote prospects and they think that success is we have a keynoter on the stage. But when you dig deeper, really, I think that one of the challenges that we're facing when it comes to creating these experiences that really are meaningful and valuable and are generating the type of ROI that you really want on your event is departing from the status quo. I want to say calcified assumptions of what success means, and upgrading our definition of what success means for when we come together, whether it's virtual or in person. Success is that every individual that participates, it feels like they are meant to be there. Their investment of time and energy in that event was valuable, and that they were able to connect with fresh ideas and awesome people. And that, success, I think, needs to be redefined, that we're creating the conditions for that to happen. And I mean, I'm curious how you see it. You've said that, virtual, when it's done well, can actually be better than in person. What is it that would make that true?
So in an in-person gathering, you have a lot of logistics. When you give an instruction to a group of 1,000 people and say, okay, now go discuss, you have room or audience management, or in the teaching space, they call it classroom management, right? You have to, okay, so hang on, settle down. We're not ready yet. We're going to start the timer in just a moment. Okay, shh, just a moment. I know you're excited. I know you're excited. Okay, there we go. Here's the instruction again. So just so it's clear, you're going to be discussing this. One person's going to be writing these things down. Get ready to come back to a larger group of 6 instead of 3 and present your idea. You're going to vote on who has the one that's rise to the top. Instructions clear? All right, we're going to put a timer on the screen. So all of these instructions you can deliver in Zoom, but then you also drop into the chat, and then you also can reinforce virtually with DMs and messaging. We can then put people into their rooms and give them all a Microsoft OneDrive or a Google Doc link where they can be documenting all of the things essentially in a flip chart that aggregates itself in real time. So I've never seen a conference with 1,000 people who get their laptops out who all write into one document simultaneously in person. Doesn't happen. The Wi-Fi is an issue. The data is an issue. Power wires, all the things. In this case, everybody has a keyboard at their hands, and they can type their ideas and create a document in real time. When you see a document created in real time by 12 breakouts of 12 people, 100 people typing at the same time, you can't do that in person. You have one person usually writing on a flip chart or Post-it notes or taking notes. And so the distillation process, the ability to dump more brains out onto a table and sort faster, happens in Zoom, happens in virtual. That's where I've noticed as a facilitator, we can do more, and we can move more quickly, and we can have more meaningful conversations and better information capture, better real-time distillation. Wow. As a facilitator, I'm getting butterflies. Like, that's exciting.
Well, yeah, because you're creating the conditions for new ideas to collide. You're opening imaginations, but you're also co-creating. And so now your audience is not only participating, they're actually invested in co-creating that outcome together.
I've been involved in co-creating the day. So in real time, let's figure out, what are you wrestling with? Okay, great. Now that we know, It's not up to us as a meeting planner necessarily to tell you what you're going through. Why don't you tell us? Great question. I learned from John Berghoff. I'm going to paraphrase here. He asks it better than I am going to on this call. But in essence, you start a meeting asking participants to discuss, why is it important that we're here today doing this? Why is it important? This is facilitation 101 for many people, but if you've never done this kind of training, you may not know. But if you ask the group, why is it important that we're gathering? You're going to get the opinion. You're going to get varying opinions. One is, it's important because we need to learn the new 2.0 of the thing. Another is, it's important we're gathering because we work with these people and we need to deepen the relationships. And I see some themes emerging. It's very similar now that I've done it enough times. But here we're now co-creating our day together. I'm like, wow, looks like there's an overwhelming group of folks that are here to make meaningful connections. We're going to make sure that's part of our day today. There's a large group of people that want to learn about the 2.0 of the 1.7s and the 2200 series. Okay, we're going to go deep on that as well. Adult learners love being part of the solution, right? So you're more likely to retain the training if you had a part in the training. So let's create that. It doesn't have to be unidirectional anymore. It can be bidirectional. And because we have so much tech at our disposal, when you have a facilitator who can navigate that tech and bring it in easily for all the participants, it doesn't feel like heavy lifting for them, and it's not clunky. Oh, where's my button? How do I do my word? Oh, that didn't work. No, you just make it not clunky, incredibly easy to go full on. We've noticed the feedback is, boy, that was refreshing. That I was not expecting to have a video meeting today that would be that productive. And I know you've seen it at Tomorrow's Zone, right? You run some of those ideation sprints where people are very quickly coming to consensus on things that might have taken a lot longer.
Well, yeah, because they're co-creating the big picture of what's going on. And so in a similar manner, they're a part of not only properly framing the problems that are valuable to solve, but creating the solution together. And it's hard to resist a plan that you were part of creating. I mean, that's the principle behind what we do and why we do it. But I think that the key is make it easy for them to engage in that tech until it's just second nature. And we actually build that onboarding right into our program, similar to how you're onboarding people into your events. But you mentioned tech, and sometimes people kind of feel like, too much tech takes away from the humanity of building relationships. And it's important in meetings to understand how to properly use this tech. But there's another area where I think that you're really excelling, Chris, in leveraging technology in a new way to actually connect deeper with people, especially in the sales process. And, I know a lot of people in the equipment finance industry are involved in sales. And so they're on planes and trains and automobiles going here, there, and everywhere to be in person with people, building relationship. But you have found a unique way to build relationship, especially in the sales process, by using tech. And I wonder, and I don't want to give it away, but I wonder if you could speak to that a little bit, because it's been around for a while, but not enough people are doing it.
The word tech for some people is intimidating, right? Oh, tech, I don't know what plug goes into the thing. If you're willing to try some stuff, and if you're willing to accept that the camera does not add 10 pounds, you just weigh 10 pounds more than you want to weigh. Like this, the camera doesn't add 10 pounds. You just have the 10 pounds.
All right, myth is busted.
So if you're willing to be kind to yourself and willing to be your flawed self on camera, that makes this thing easier. Now, I guess I want to separate two things. If you are attending a live video meeting and you can see yourself on video, you're doing it wrong. I'll say that again slowly. If you attend a Zoom, a Teams, or whatever, if you can see yourself on the screen and the other participants on the screen, the facilitator hasn't done their job. The facilitator at the start of the call should show you how to turn off your self-view. Within 30 seconds of turning off one's self-view, for whatever reason, our brain chemistry shifts and we get more calm because we don't hate ourselves as much. Oh, I can't believe my hair. Oh, I should have done the thing. Is my forehead shiny? What's going on? We stop worrying about that if we can't see ourselves. So turning off self-view is key. Every facilitator should do that for all meetings. It just changes the vibe completely of a meeting. Now, that handled. When you talk about tech, I think you're referring to how I use some of these toys, we'll call them, for business development, right?
Yes.
For sales, relationship building, networking. And when I say relationship building, there's part of it is the networking. Let's go meet new people. But another part is someone you have had interactions with. Can you deepen the relationship? I would suggest every interaction. In fact, I forget which book it was. Everything you and I say and everything you and I do either adds to or takes away from someone else's experience. So my intention is, can I do things that will add to your experience rather than take away from your experience? How can I deepen our relationship? I would suggest that every interaction you have with someone has the potential to make the relationship deeper. So first could be a LinkedIn request. Then it could be a piece of information about them or a piece of information about you. That's a third interaction deepens the relationship. A fourth and fifth and sixth interaction deepens it further. The problem is if it's all via email or text, they get tired and they're inundated with emails and texts. Someone said this morning at breakfast, this older guy, he figured out how to send 300 emails an hour. Well, the problem is everybody's figuring out how to send 300 emails an hour, so everyone's inboxes are full and we don't want to look at these emails anymore, right? So we need to get past the noise, Deb. It's noisy. And everyone's jaded and everyone's doing this automation-y things. And so I figured, well, why not? If I give keynotes and I do training and I'm on stages, why am I just sending a text or a typewritten email? Why don't I send a video? So I found a service. There are many. There's one called Loom. There's one called Vidyard. There's, 2 or 3, maybe 5 or 6 more. Pretty much all of them have a way to bolt into your Outlook or your Gmail. It's very easy to set up. Here's what happens. Instead of sending a typewritten email, instead of leaving a voicemail, I record a video that's kind of like a voicemail, but it's different, right? Because they can see my facial expression. Now, the problem is you have to do a whole bunch that you dislike. You don't want to see yourself on video because we hate seeing ourselves on video. I still do. But if you can calm down about that discomfort of being on video and you just look into the little black circle, right? Right here, I'm looking at you. For those of you on audio only, I'm just looking down. Now I'm looking at the camera and I'm making eye contact with the camera. And Deb's brain is saying, Chris is making eye contact with me, which is strange. So you record a 30-second or a 48-second video to the person where they get to see you. They hear your humor. They see your microfacial expressions and they go, oh yeah, I do like business. I like doing business with that person. I remember that person. It's so much more effective. So how am I using it, Deb? Several ways. One of them is in networking introductions. Example, you say, hey, Chris, do you know someone over at ABC Company? I say, I do, actually. I went to college with that. You should meet them, right? That's networking. So what do most of us do? We send an e-introduction. Hey, person A, here's person B, go meet each other. And pre-video, my emails, I started getting prescriptive with them. I would say, hi, Deb. It was great to talk with you. You mentioned you were looking for X, company Y. Hi, Joe Schmo. Deb is amazing. She does this. Here's a link to her LinkedIn. You'd be perfect. You would definitely have to have a conversation with Deb. So I give each person each other's LinkedIn, and I give each person each other's URL, and each person each other's cell number. And I say, look, I don't normally invest this amount of time in introducing people, but my gosh, the two of you have to meet. I think you're both phenomenal people. Go discuss, right? That was via typewritten email. I realized, oh, we can do this via video. My gosh, is it effective?
So what sort of difference are you seeing? Because I've never thought of using video for the e-intro connections. And I mean, I'm involved in a lot of that. So
I've been sending them for a while now. And so, I put my logo on the screen. I might put a thing on the side and, discuss and point at things. But I didn't always have the toys that allowed me to connect video elements so readily. I sent a response to a networking email. So my friend Maurice, he heard about somebody who was looking for a speaker. He's like, Chris, you'd be perfect for this conference. And this guy, even if you don't hire Cummins, you're going to enjoy chatting with him. I got to introduce you to. So he did that normal email introduction. I responded to both of them. And much like you would probably do, like, hey, we're going to move Maurice to BCC. Nice to meet you. Let's have a jam. That would have been characters on a screen. I record a video. Mo, what a treat to hear from you. I loved when we worked on Project X, Y, and Z. And you are just such a rock star, and you're so good at those things. Time out here, Deb. You're further edifying the person. You're saying great. You're like, I concur. This person is awesome. So even if I don't do business, the person that they've chosen to refer sees me edifying so it just makes Maurice more valuable. And so Maurice, it was such a treat. And hey, over to you now, Deb. I tell you something. When a good friend like Maurice says, Deb's amazing, you need to make time, you get VIP access. I'm at your service. I love what Maurice is doing. And based on my research, let me show you here. I'm on your website and I'll click button 2 and I'll go to their website and I'll see, here's what you're doing. Here's some innovations. By the way, I watched your TED Talk about this. I cut to their TED Talk. It was really cool when you said this and that. Cut back to Chris. So even if you and I never do business, it'd be awesome just to have a conversation with you. If you want to send me your calendar booking link, I'll find it on your calendar. If it's not too forward, I'll drop the link here too. We'll just book a 15-minute call. Just have a chat. Maurice, thanks for making the intro. Deb, I'm really looking forward to connecting. For now, I'll fade to black. See you later. And then I go, whoa.
And he just faded to black for those listening.
Yeah. And when I make that sound, I always fade to black. So I sent that email. I didn't hear back from the intro person right away. I didn't hear back. But a couple of days later, I get an email from Maurice. He's like, buddy, you just made a goofy good impression with this guy. Do you know how connected he is? He's like, and he forwards me the email that this gentleman sent to him and a whole bunch of people they both know. Hey, everybody. Maurice just did an e-introduction. Look at what this guy Cummins just sent me. He just blew my mind. If this isn't a bar for all of us for making human connections, I don't know what is. So he didn't even reply to it. It was Maurice who forwarded me. He's like, hey, look what's going on behind the scenes, Cummins. You don't even see this conversation. So then when he and I did connect, we hit the ground running, Deb. It wasn't so who are you again? What's going on here? No, he was already a fan.
This is so much more powerful than running into somebody in the hallway at an event. And then you don't have time to follow up. And, this sticks. And it sounds like it's just even more powerful to get momentum as well as deepen the relationship.
So yes, and if I can layer on that, I find the larger the organization and the more zeros in their EBITDA, the stronger their spam filters are, and their emails are just locked down, right? You can't click on links. So I will send that via email, but I'll also, in an ideal world, I've connected with them on LinkedIn, or perhaps I got their cell number and I can text, or a Instagram DM or a Facebook message DM, because all of those things slip right past email spam filters.
Well, and you bring up a good point too, because I've noticed more and more of my communication with leaders is over text and not email. Like emails where great ideas go to die.
That's quote of the day. I love it. Yeah, the text, because we have it in our pocket and this must be meaningful if it made it to me, right? Whereas
Yeah.
email's just so full now. So anyhow, I will send that via email, the video via email, and via text. I'll always send it via 2 channels. I noticed, again, the larger the organization, the stronger the spam filters, and the links are removed and they don't see the animated GIF, so they don't see that it's a custom video for them. But the video very clearly says 48-second video for Deborah Rubin from Chris Cummins. Everybody's got 48 seconds. It's shorter than most voicemails. So, okay, I'll watch this guy's video. And then you have this experience of, well, that was refreshing. If this is the level that he delivers on an email intro, I wonder how he works with his clients. There's a great quotation from Steve Martin's autobiography called Born Standing Up. I believe it was his father that taught him, the way I see you do one thing is the way I assume you do everything. So in your email follow-ups, in your reach outs, in your networking, in your sales first initial conversation, in all of those things, if you show up way more effectively than your competition, it's an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
Now, will everyone start using email videos? Probably. Will there be other innovations that I'll be using before anybody else? Yep, because I'm always trying to iterate. I'm trying to figure out, how can I meet human needs? How can I create connection? How can we skip past the noise? And there'll be ways to do it differently a year from now.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that framing, because it's not about the tech. It's not about the tools or the next shiny object. It's always back to, how can I best connect with humans given the capability that we have right now? So, Chris, where can people find out more about the awesome work that you do?
Well, my website is chriscummins.com, CHRISCUMMINS.com. I'm going to try an experiment, and this is something for you, Deb, and for those tuning into this podcast. I've been on many podcasts. I've never done this before. I'm going to give you my cell number. And if someone listening to this podcast wants to just send me a text, I will reply. It's not an automated bot. You won't go on any list. There's no systemized list building thing. It's just one human saying, hey, if some of this resonated and you want to maybe ask for resources or go deeper, shoot me a text. My cell number is 416-200-7246. 416-200-7246. And shoot me a text.
Wow. Okay, so that was a first for you. It's also a first for our show. And we're 100 episodes in. So you're the first one to actually share your mobile number. I can't wait to hear what happens with that.
We're always innovating, right?
Yeah, why not?
My email is just chris@chriscummins.com, but that usually gets put on lists and things. And I found if you are trying to make meaningful connections with smart, motivated humans, the smart, motivated humans are the ones that take action. And those that don't, that's okay. Like, we can still be friends. But I found that as I've been more free with my cell number, to date, it hasn't been abused.
That is awesome. Well, Chris, I can't believe how fast the time has flew by, and that happens every time we get together. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks, by the way. I can't wait. So
yeah, that'll be
as
great.
much as I interact with you virtually, it's always great to see you in person too. So that's going to be fun. So here we are at the lightning round, and I'm just looking for quick, short answers here. Whatever's top of mind, want to see what comes up. So one word is what we're looking for here. What word best describes a great virtual experience?
Engaging.
Ooh, that's good.
If I can do a hyphenated word, bi-directional.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Okay, we'll take both. So the next one, fill in the blank. The future of leadership communication will require more blank.
Human.
Yes.
My book is almost finished, and it's the human side of business. It's the product of interviewing just over 1,000 people, trying to figure out like what's causing success in your business, like what's working, right? And it's the human side of business. I think as leaders use AI dashboards now and productivity trackers, and as your workers become more stressed trying to hit those targets and things, when you can show up as a real human being and you can be real and revealing about some of your weaknesses, your foibles, there's a nuance to that, but if you can have real human connections with people, you can lead. But if you're just trying to lead because you have a title, that's gonna fall apart. So you can build people up, and the best leaders are the ones building other leaders. And I believe very strongly instilling like human connection skills is so important. And it starts with your live in-person events, and then it morphs into your live virtual events, your live one-on-one in person, your live one-on-one on Zoom. All of those things require that human element.
Well, and that's the skill of the future, really. No matter what's happening with AI or whatever's next, humans are still involved, and we got to get good at being more human. Okay, last question for you, Chris. Looking back, what do you wish you had known earlier about all this?
What do I wish I had known earlier about all of this?
All of this that we talked about.
How much time do you have? I think you said it really well. It's not about the tech. So stop worrying about what toys and what wires to plug in where, and look at it all through a lens of human connection, of shared human experiences. Some people say, "Oh, well, we don't have room for woo-woo in our agenda." Well, slow down. We're not talking woo. We're talking human beings are emotional creatures. We make decisions on emotion. We justify on logic. There's so much documentation to verify that corroborates this. So let's figure out the human side, and don't the tech is a tool, but it doesn't matter which toys it is. If you're focused just on, I have a great camera, but your message was no good, it didn't resonate with the humans, it doesn't matter what tech you had. So how can you create meaningful human experiences? The tech is just one of many tools.
Well, we're going to wrap with that. To our listeners, I hope you took away some awesome wisdom nuggets from that. I know I did. Chris, thank you so much for being on the show with me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's an honor to be here. I so appreciate these conversations.
And if this conversation resonates with you, I encourage you to check out my new book, Enter the Tomorrow Zone. It's now available on Amazon, and the audiobook is coming out soon. We're in the recording sessions this week. If you see yourself in it, book a call with us. We'd love to explore shaping the future with you. As always, we love it if you like, subscribe, share the episode with a friend. Thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, stay curious and choose to make awesome happen.